I'm great.
Welcome to New York.
Thanks.
How do you like New York so far?
New York is nice. It's really cool. Really energetic, really heterogeneous city. I like it.
Have you met any different artists out here so far? Who are from here?
Have I? I don't think so, actually.
Not yet?
No.
Okay. Well, talk about your start in music. How did you get into music?
Man, I got into music since I was like 3 years old, listening to radio, listening to my dad play music in the car, my mom, gospel music in church. Yeah, like music was literally always around me, and I just found myself drawn to it, you know, since I was really young. So the interest and the enthusiasm just led me to, you know, learn how to play instruments, learn how to write, learn how to produce, learn how to, you know, basically it just drew me in, basically.
And are you self-taught with instruments?
Partly, like, you know, for the piano, my dad taught me how to play piano when I was like 7 or so. But like, you know, he taught me the basics and I had to learn the rest on my own. Guitar I'm self-taught though. But yeah, I had lessons here and there from people.
Just a few. But being self-taught is amazing. That's not an easy thing to be when it comes to multiple instruments.
Yeah.
And are you vocally trained, or are you self-taught as a vocalist as well?
I've had lessons here and there, but like I didn't go to a vocal school or anything like that.
So you grew up around music, but how did your family respond to your interest in wanting to pursue music as a professional career?
Not very well. Actually, they didn't. Their response was no.
That's it, no.
Yeah.
What did they want you to do? Engineering?
Anything else but music.
Anything else but music?
Yeah.
Wow. So how did you find it within yourself to pursue that path despite not getting the support?
Well, I just really wanted to do it, you know. I wanted it bad enough to, you know, to go against my parents' will, basically. Yeah, I just thought about the whole thing, and I was like, you know what, down the line, maybe 10 years, 20 years down the line, I don't want to have any regrets, you know, wishing I took a step when I could, you know. I feel like my parents will be fine at the end of the day when they understand the vision. Even though they'll be upset right now, they'll understand and they'll be fine. So I chose to just make the move.
Do they understand now?
Hell yeah.
How could they not? But speaking of music, what is your creative process like? Because you sing, you write, and you produce, and you play instruments. So when you construct a song, what comes first?
Anything can come first when I construct a song. Sometimes it's the lyrics, sometimes it's one line, sometimes it's one word, sometimes it's one melody, sometimes it's the beats, and the beats inspires me to write stuff. Sometimes it's a chord progression, you know, sometimes it's an ideology, sometimes it's a feeling, sometimes it's an experience, you know. It just, I don't have a one track process. Like my process depends on a whole lot of things, you know.
Experience seems to be a big one.
It is.
Because of the topics that you cover.
Yeah.
So we're gonna get into it. The album, Sad Romance. Talk about some of the experiences that informed the album.
Man, all right. Sad Romance was basically, it's like a story of 2 relationships I was in. And yeah, it was a whole bunch of positive, negative, and, you know, weird stuff that happened. And every song is based on one of these experiences, from, you know, falling in love to breaking up to getting back together to cheating to all kinds of stuff, man. You know, I experienced all kinds of stuff, and I just felt like the way I see music as art. I see music as a creative outlet, you know. So if I'm going through stuff, it's very logical that I just talk about it in my music, you know. And different people have different things they're passionate about, or they're, you know, different themes of their lives. For me, the predominant theme of my life is toxic love.
Why is that? Why is that?
I really don't know. I think it's just the way it is.
Toxic love. Do you think it's always gonna be that way?
I hope not.
So you said the album is based on 2 relationships.
Yeah.
How many relationships have you been in?
A few.
Can you count them?
I think I've been in like 4, 5
4?
relationships.
Okay, yeah, you're still young. That's not that many.
I've not been in many relationships actually. I don't do relationships very often. But when I do, it's always very intense.
And when you do, you write albums.
Yeah.
So talk about the difference between Sad Romance and your other projects, your other EPs.
The difference between Sad Romance and my other EPs is Sad Romance is more personal than my other EPs, and it's more specific. On CKay the first, for instance, I was talking about all kinds of stuff, not just love. I was talking about, you know, my life, my struggles, you know, different stuff I experience on a day-to-day in Nigeria, and love too. But like on Sad Romance, I kind of focused on the romantic side of my life, because at the time I made the album, that was the predominant theme of my life, you know, and I just wanted to express a lot about that. Also sonically, it's very forward sonically. Like I wanted to try new things. I wanted to, you know, make something new. I always say like there's no point of CKay making music if I make the exact same stuff you listen to from other people, you know. There's no point. Like I should just quit if I'm going to do that. So I try to always change the sound. I try to bring something new. I try to innovate the genre, you know, every time I make music. So yeah, pretty much.
What's the biggest change you would say you've gone through as an artist from this period up until this project?
Biggest change. So many things have changed. I would say my perspective has changed. I've definitely performed in so many stages in different places right now. So like I've had one-on-one experiences with my fans in different places, you know. So yeah, that definitely influenced my album and everything else I do right now. What else has changed? I mean, I have a lot less time on my hands these days. And yeah, man, all kinds of stuff have changed, man. Like my relationships with people around me, my relationship with my family, my relationship with everyone has kind of changed. But I'm still the same person though. It's just, I feel like, you know, the vibes are just a bit different now.
Is that positive or negative?
Both.
Both.
Yeah.
In what regard?
Well, I mean, traveling around the world and all that stuff is really nice, but it's also really stressful at the same time. And it also comes with a lot of emotional, psychological, and physical pressure as well, you know. Like, yeah, like it takes a toll physically, you know. I've had a few challenges with my health here and there that I may not have had if I wasn't traveling every single day. But yeah, I would say all in all, it's been positive.
That's something you don't usually hear artists talk about, the health aspect of it, mental and physical.
Yeah.
Of just scaling the business of your art and of yourself. So how do you deal with that? How do you combat all of those different changes?
Well, I take my vitamins. I go to the gym, I work out, I try to keep my body in good shape. Also, I try to keep good energy around me too, real energy. And yeah, I just try to keep my mind healthy and my body healthy as much as I can. I try to eat good food, even though it's a bit challenging sometimes because, you know, there's different kinds of cuisine in different countries, you know. Yeah, but I try.
Have you, kept up with all of those regimens while making the album, or were you going through it when you were making the album?
I mean, while I was making the album, I was traveling. I was doing all this stuff while making the album. So yeah, pretty much I was.
What's your favorite song on the album, or what's the most meaningful
That's
song on the album?
that's an unfair question.
Why?
It's like asking someone who's your favorite child, like a mother, what's your favorite child? I don't have a favorite song on the album. They're all my favorite songs.
Okay. My
and
favorite
they're all
is You.
meaningful. Oh, for real?
I like that song a lot.
Thanks.
So who was your most fun collaboration, or who were you really excited to collaborate with, and who were you upset that you didn't get a chance to collaborate with?
I would say it was Samson and Delilah with Myron Jad. I think she's amazing, and we've been trying to make a song, or we were trying to make a song for like a whole year, but we never just got the chance to be in the same place at the same time. And yeah, like the type of energy we had, like we just had to make the song together. Like it wasn't one of those send the verse via email kind of stuff. Like we had to be in the same place. And yeah, after like a year, we finally linked up in London to make the song. And I remember like I just came into London. I literally went to the hotel, dropped my bags, and went straight to the studio. And it was really, really amazing session, great energy. The song is amazing as well. So yeah, I'll take that one.
So if you could describe the project in one word, what would you use?
Amazing.
Amazing. What would you say is something that you want audiences to take away after hearing the project from you as a person and an artist?
Well, the one thing I want the audience to take away from the album is the fact that love is beautiful and it's fucked up at the same time, and that's okay. Yeah.
And it's clear that this toxic love, that's the thematic presence throughout your music. And you've talked about how your subgenre is emo Afropop.
Emo Afrobeats.
Emo Afrobeat.
Yeah.
Explain that.
Basically, the simplest way I can explain it is Afrobeats is predominantly rhythm-based, dance-based. Like, you know, if you've been listening to Afrobeats for decades, you know what I'm saying. Like, it's very dance-based. But for me, I kind of wanted to make it more psychedelic, more emotional, you know. Like, I want people, well, not that I want people, but while I'm making the music, I'm feeling stuff. So I just put those feelings into the music. So when people listen to it, you can dance and everything, but you're feeling stuff while you're dancing. Like, I have high emotional content in my music. So simply put, that's what it is.
And I don't know if you were around at this time. You remember that era of emo rock music from like the early 2000s? Yeah. Did that inform how you approach Afrobeats?
Well, I am a fan of emo rock, first of all. I used to listen to lots of rock when I was growing up. You know, Paramore is my favorite band. And yeah, I was always a huge fan of the writing style of emo rock. Like, it's always really heartfelt lyrics, and the music just touches you somewhere. So yeah, I think that may have influenced me in some way.
And it's interesting that you say that, because Afrobeats artists have always gotten so much flack for not having substantial lyrics. So when you talk about writing about love and emotions and it having substance, that is kind of what you're talking about as far as it being emo, and still dance-based, but having some type of substance there beyond you know, the club records.
Yeah, you know, I feel club records are they're kind of subjective in a way, because, you know, a DJ plays music at so many different tempos. You know, like there are songs that are like 95 BPM and you can still play it in the club and girls will whine waist to it. There are songs that are like 110 BPM and you can still play it in the club. I think what matters is how, if people just feel the music, that's the most important thing. I mean, my biggest song is a slow song.
Right.
In fact, the viral version of my biggest song is even slower than the original. Yeah. You know, so I feel it's just semantics. Like, music is music. Good music is good music. If it's great, they'll play it in the club and people will dance.
Mm-hmm. And how do you feel about the expansion and sort of evolution of Afrobeats? Because you mentioned, you know, this genre has been around for so long, whether or not people have been engaging with it or not. Where do you think the genre is at now that we're seeing subgenres from Afrobeats?
I think Afrobeats is in a very good place right now. So many big songs from Afrobeats right now. The culture itself is becoming very mainstream. Lots of people are interested in Afrobeats. You know, they want to learn the dance, they want to learn the slangs. You know, I think it's really interesting that that's happening right now. You know, and yeah, I think it's growing. It's still growing. I don't think it has peaked yet. I still think Afrobeats is going to get bigger than it is right now, and I'm really excited for where it is. You know, I want everyone to. I want the genre to evolve as well. Like, I don't think the sound should be stagnant. Mm-hmm. And you know, there's so many artists putting in work, trying to evolve the genre, and I'm very happy about that.
Mm-hmm. And you know, for so long, I think on the Western end, on the U.S. end, there's been this, you know, misunderstanding of the genre, conflating it with Afrobeats. Even still, we see that confusion. So what is something you would want people who are not familiar with the genre to understand about the genre?
Okay, so first of all, Afrobeats with an S is it was like a term that was coined by, you know, the UK African community to describe our music in a simple, you know, in an umbrella. Mm-hmm. African music is actually, there's so many types of African music. There's high life, there's Fuji, there's, you know, there's juju music, there's akpala music, there's all kinds of actual genres of music. But what we call Afrobeats today, there's Afrobeat too without an S, mm-hmm. which is specifically Fela's, you know, sound, and he coined that term to describe his music, you know. And before that, he was making high life music. Mm-hmm. Then he invented Afrobeat without the S. But today, we call every kind of music that falls under that category of pop African music as Afrobeats, because it's just easier to describe to people. I mean, for instance, the Al Qaeda sound from Ghana is actually called Al Qaeda. It's not technically Afrobeat or Afrobeats, whatever, but it's put under the umbrella of Afrobeats. You know, my sound, Emo Afrobeats, is basically like, most of my rhythms are island rhythms. Mm-hmm. You know, like Love Wantinti, for instance, is an island rhythm that can fall under so many categories. It can fall under Zouk. A DJ could play it on a Zouk playlist. You can play it on a dancehall playlist and everything. But it still has some foundations in high life, you know, which is very popular where I'm from. Mm-hmm. I come from Anambra State, Nigeria. And even from there, there's different kinds of Igbo music. There's Ogene, which is like the fast one. There's, you know, the high life stuff that everyone plays. So it's just a whole combination of so many things, you know, and we just call everything Afrobeats. But it's much deeper than, you know, that one name. But, you know.
Do you think that umbrella term is problematic? As far as people conflating all these different genres, not understanding how many different genres we have on the continent in Nigeria alone.
I mean, what is Afrobeats? Afrobeats. I think it's a pretty apt umbrella because it's beats with an S. There are so many types of beats, so many types of tempos, so many types of rhythms, so many types of dances. Each rhythm and each beat, there's a way you dance to it that's different, you know. Like where I'm from, the way you dance to Ogene is different. Like, girls don't really whine waist to Ogene. They kind of, there's like a side-to-side movement. If you try to whine waist to it, you'll break your waist. You know, the mid-tempo stuff, there's a way you dance to it. The Ghanaian Al Qaeda, there's a certain way you dance to it as well. Amapiano, There's a way you dance to it. Although Amapiano is not Afrobeats.
Yeah.
It's South African, but I feel people even still classify it as Afrobeats, you know, in the Western world, but it's actually different, you know. But yeah, I think it's an apt umbrella because, I mean, to people who don't really understand it, at first when you're describing African music, you can't start explaining all these things. So it's good to give the umbrella, then people do research and find the different, you know, pockets that there is.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And as your career expands and then you get more nominations, more awards, more charts, listings, and all these different things, do you care where your music is categorized?
Well, I don't know. Like, I feel as long as my music is, you can categorize it as pop. It depends. Like, for instance, what is pop music? Pop music is popular music. Mm. So if Afrobeats is charting on Billboard Hot 100s, if everyone is singing it, if everyone is dancing to it, non-Africans, that's technically pop. Mm-hmm. So I think it can be classified as pop. But at the end of the day, I mean, I don't own the awards, so I can't tell them whatever, but I think this is how I see it. I feel if a song goes mainstream, even though it's Afrobeats, it should be classified as pop, even though it has roots in Afrobeats by definition. Mm-hmm. You know.
But at this point, it's popular music. If Afrobeats artists are winning Grammys, getting 1 billion streams on Spotify.
Exactly. So it's pop music.
It's pop music at this point.
By definition, not by how I feel or how you feel. If you check the dictionary definition of pop music, it should fall under that category.
Mm-hmm. And do you think about, on the business end of your music, do you think about markets? Do you think about where your biggest market would be? Is it still Nigeria, or has it expanded now?
Well, it's a bit hard to answer that question because Nigeria is where I'm from. That's where the music is from. That's where the culture is from. Of course, I have a very large Nigerian fan base, you know. But at the same time, you still have a situation where a country like India, for instance, with a crazy population, is consuming my music heavily. France is consuming my music heavily as well. And, you know, the numbers may show you that these countries are bigger markets or whatever, but the thing about Nigeria is there's a lot more undocumented music consumption in Nigeria that it's a bit hard to track it, you know, like, so based on paper, you could say markets like India or France have consumed my music a little bit more than Nigeria on paper. But if you go back home, you might find that that's not necessarily the case, you know. But I mean, I'm very not mad at other countries consuming my music. I feel that's the whole point. You know, if music is good, we can't keep it to ourselves. We need the whole world to be on it. So I think that's great.
And now you're on your first US tour. So how's it been so far?
It's been amazing, actually. We've done about 4 cities now. New York was last night. I think the energy was so good. I had so much fun. The crowd was amazing. And I'm looking forward to the next cities we'll be going to.
What's been the best city so far? You have to pick one.
You're setting me up. I don't like
to.
that. All cities have been the best city.
I'm going to say New York because I'm from New York.
You said it, I didn't say it. But New York is also the best city because all cities are the best city.
Okay, all right. Yeah. What do you miss most about home?
Food.
The food?
Yeah.
You haven't eaten any Nigerian food here yet?
I have, and it's good. It's just, you know, I'm not going to lie, it's actually been good. Some of the Nigerian food I've had has actually been surprisingly good.
In New York?
In New York, in DC.
DC has a lot of Nigerians, that's why.
Atlanta, the food in Atlanta was really, 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 really good. But yeah, like back home, there's some stuff that you just don't have here, like suya. I feel like American suya is so American. Like doesn't hit the same at all.
I know, but I gotta introduce you to some people because you can't get it that way in the restaurants. Like someone has to make it for you here.
Yeah, but even if you make it, you see,
I know
you can never compete with a malam that is making it by the roadside with fire, like raw fire, not gas, not gas fire, like charcoal
and then the
fire.
newspaper, it's not the same.
Yeah, all those things are part of the ingredients. It's just like jollof rice. Party jollof rice you cook with firewood cannot taste like gas cooker jollof rice. It can't.
I know, we don't got all that here, but we try.
But yeah, the food.
We try. So where do you consider home? You said you're from Anambra, but you were born in the north.
Yeah.
That's interesting. You were born in the north. You're from Anambra. Are you based in Lagos now?
Yeah, I live in Lagos. But yeah, I was born in Kaduna State specifically, but I'm from Anambra State originally.
Interesting. So what are the differences for people who are not familiar with the differences? Culturally, what's life like?
Anambra is an Igbo state. Both of my parents are from there. The vibes are very, so Igbos were very commercial people, very enterprising people. So there's lots of businesses and stuff, lots of good food as well, lots of palm trees, rivers. It's not really by the ocean, so there's no beaches. But in Lagos, there's beaches because it's like by the ocean and stuff. Very fast. Lagos is a lot more fast. It's a lot more intense, a lot more hustle and bustle. Kaduna, on the other hand, is very suburban vibes. Like it was really chill, really. Also, it was an Islamic state, so there was a
huge difference.
Yeah, there was like club culture was not very heavy there. The way people dress was very different because of the culture of the place. The weather, it was really. It gets cold when it's like Harmattan season, but during the rainy season, it's also really hot at the same time. But the humidity is really low in general. But in Lagos and in Anambra, it's a lot of humidity. So like when it's hot, it gets like sticky on your skin and stuff.
I actually don't mind it. Is that crazy?
You don't mind humidity?
No, in Lagos, when it gets that hot, I really don't mind it.
I do. But I mean, it's really cool. I think I definitely prefer to -5, -10 degrees cold. Yeah.
So you feel most at home anywhere in Nigeria?
I feel most at home in Anambra, obviously, because it's my home, state. But right now, because I live in Lagos, when I'm in Lagos, I feel very at home too. Yeah.
What's your favorite country or city that you've been to in any part of the world so far?
It's hard to say because every city has its perks. Every city has that one thing about the city that makes me like the city. Like I love Paris a lot. I like the vibes there, but I also love Berlin. I also love Dubai. Dubai is a different vibe. Like when I'm in Dubai, it's a different set of experiences, I deal with. When I'm in Lagos, it's different. When I'm in Accra, it's also very different because Accra is West Africa. And, the West African vibes are still very heavy there. But it's really hard to say, man. Every city is my favorite city.
You don't pick favorites. I've noticed that.
Yeah, because it's hard for me to pick favorites because I have fans in all these places and stuff.
You don't want to offend nobody.
Yeah. But Anambra is my favorite state where I'm from.
And where's somewhere you haven't traveled yet that you want to go?
I haven't been to Canada.
Really?
I'm going there in like a week.
Okay.
So I'm really looking forward to that.
Okay, it's right there. You can literally take the train to Canada. But is there one part of your career right now that you want to delve more into? Because I know people look at you as an artist who has a particular type of style. So is fashion an arena that you want to delve into?
Absolutely. I'm a huge fan of fashion. And I'm already kind of delving into it already, So yeah.
In what ways?
You'll see.
What's coming up?
You'll see. I can't really say. I'm not at liberty to say.
Okay.
But you'll see real soon. But yeah, fashion is something I'm really, really interested in. I think fashion is a very, very, very important form of self-expression. It's kind of like music, but more visual than music.
Mm-hmm.
You know, fashion is literally you carrying your emotions on you, like wearing your heart on your sleeve, basically. You know, how you dress is how you feel. It's a representation of how you feel inside. You know, so.
What's
yeah.
today's feeling?
Well, today I feel like a pink tee, blue jeans, and green shoes.
That's actually my favorite color. That's like a
Thanks.
pastel,
Yeah.
Tiffany blue, teal.
Yeah.
So you did a good job.
Thanks.
So what outside of fashion and outside of music do you want to get into? Do you think about acting? No?
I don't know. I don't think I'm the best actor. I like to watch movies, but I don't know if I see myself in one. But maybe. I don't know. Who knows?
Would you ever do a music score from a movie? Scoring and, you know?
Yeah. I have done a few, actually, already. Yeah.
Okay. And what would you say you've contributed to the modern African music scene thus far? Because you've made a lot of strides and records already. So what would you say has been your biggest contribution?
Well, I would say my biggest contribution has been my innovation in the sound. You know, like I said, there's literally no point of CKay making music if I'm going to make exactly what you've heard before. So Emo Afrobeats is my biggest innovation to Afrobeats so far. I mean, you know, people making challenges and all that stuff to my music. And shortly after that, you have so many other Afrobeat songs now going viral on TikTok, people doing challenges, you know. At first, when Love Wanting Tea came out and it happened, everybody was like, oh, TikTok, TikTok, TikTok.
Yeah.
Now everybody's on TikTok, you know, so funny. But yeah, I think it's good that everyone is on TikTok now, because why not? Like, why shouldn't you be on TikTok? Why shouldn't your music be on TikTok? Like, are you in the 19th century? Like, you know, I think that's really amazing, and the culture is growing like crazy right now, you know, and I'm just happy that I was able to play my role in making that happen.
Definitely. And then my last question, how do you want to be remembered as a person and as an artist?
Well, I don't have much control over how people will choose to remember me, but I hope they remember me for my innovations in the sound and in the culture, and my, you know, the ground I was able to break, and my energy. I want people to remember how I made them feel when I was here.
That's it. Amazing. Thank you very much.
Thank you. All right.